Luka and LeBron are going to dominate the NBA this season. First, there are two of the most prolific scorers in the NBA. LeBron averaged 24.4 points per game last season, and Luka chipped in 28.2. That's already over 52 points every night between just the two of them. That's not just volume, that's consistency. And it wasn't just raw numbers either. LeBron shot over 51% from the field and had a true shooting percentage over 60%, which at age 40 is still unreal. Luka's efficiency wasn't far off either, with a true shooting mark of 59%. Together, that level of scoring punch didn't just show up, it hit teams like a freight train. They only played 28 games together in the regular season, but in those games, they combined to average over 15 rebounds and almost 16 assists, while putting up a net rating of plus 176. That's a staggering number for such a small sample size. It shows just how clean their fit was on the court. LeBron's usage rate sat right at 31%, while Luka was at 34.8, and neither had to give up their rhythm to make space for the other. That balance is rare, and it's the kind of thing that gets better with time. LeBron played just under 35 minutes per game and still put up numbers that would make most players in their prime jealous. 7.8 rebounds, 8.2 assists, and he shot 37.6% from deep. That shooting opens up a whole lane of possibilities for Luka, who thrives when surrounded by spacing. Luka himself played just over 35 minutes per game and was responsible for 7.5 assists per game, while also pulling down over 8 boards a night. That's star-level production across the board. In the playoffs, against one of the toughest defensive teams in the league, both of them turned it up. LeBron averaged 25.4 points, 9 rebounds, and 5.6 assists. He still shot close to 50% from the field and nearly 36% from deep. Luka, facing the same suffocating defense, actually bumped his scoring up to over 30 points per game, with 7 rebounds and nearly 6 assists. His free throw shooting in that series was ridiculous, 89.1%. And remember, that was all against a team that had been smothering offenses all season. Now look ahead to this upcoming season. They only had 28 games to figure each other out last time. That's not even half a season. Now they get a full training camp, a full preseason, and a whole year to build chemistry. That means fewer forced isolations and more flow in the offense. With both guys being elite passers and smart decision makers, the ceiling on their scoring goes way higher just from running actual plays instead of improvising on the fly. Plus, the Lakers front office is adding shooters around them. That means better floor spacing, which opens the paint for both Luka and LeBron to get to their spots without 5 defenders collapsing on them. And when those defenders do collapse, both of them are perfectly capable of kicking it out for open shots. LeBron's three-point shooting last season was right under 38%, and as a spot-up option, that makes him lethal off the ball. Luka can run the offense, and LeBron can punish defenders who sag. Conditioning matters too. Luke is 26 now, right in the beginning of his prime, and reports say he's coming into the season in better shape. That means more energy late in games and more burst on drives. LeBron's 40, sure, but his true shooting was over 60% last year. That's not just good, that's elite, especially for someone whose game has adapted to focus on smarter scoring rather than relying on pure athleticism. LeBron's advanced stats back it up. His assist percentage was 25.5 while keeping that 31% usage rate. That means he was creating offense for others without hijacking possessions. Luka's 59% true shooting is going to tick up now that he doesn't have to create every single look on his own. Playing with someone like LeBron means fewer forced shots, more open ones, and better looks in rhythm. That plus 176 net rating in those 28 games, that's not just noise. That shows they were blowing teams out when both were on the floor. The Lakers' offense averaged 118.5 points per 100 possessions with both Luka and LeBron playing. That kind of production isn't a fluke. It's what happens when you put two of the smartest scorers and passers in the league together. And here's where things get even more fun. Both players can handle the ball, both can shoot, and both can post up. That puts defenses in terrible positions, constantly having to switch and rotate, and when they do, it usually ends in a mismatch. LeBron playing small ball center opens up the floor for Luka to drive or step back. Luka's step back threes force defenders out to the perimeter, which gives LeBron room to cut or attack inside. It's a nightmare for opposing teams, and it's only going to get worse for them this season. With more shooters around them, expect Luka's assist numbers to climb. He was already at 7.5 assists per game, and that was while adapting midseason. Now that he knows where guys will be and the team can run real sets, his passing becomes even more dangerous. Same for LeBron. That 8.2 assists per game, don't be surprised if that stays steady even with Luka around, because both are capable of creating advantages with or without the ball. And the usage rate balance is key. LeBron at 31% and Luka at nearly 35% means they're sharing the load without getting in each other's way. That keeps both players fresh and lets them pick their spots. In tight games, that means either guy can close. Luka's 89% from the line in the playoffs says he's ready for that responsibility. And LeBron's decision-making is still among the best in the league. Everything about this pairing is trending up. The scoring, the efficiency, the fit, it's all there. And now they get time to polish it. The Lakers' offense should be one of the most productive in the league this season. With Luka in his prime and LeBron still playing at an elite level, there's every reason to believe that 52.6 combined points from last year could become even more deadly. No fluff, no gimmicks, just two of the most productive scorers in the league learning how to make each other better. And from what we saw in those 28 games, the numbers say it's working. Now they've got a full season to turn that spark into a full-blown explosion. But then I want to talk about their passing. Luka averaged 7.5 assists per game during the regular season after joining the Lakers. And LeBron wasn't far behind with 8.2. That's over 15 dimes per game between them just in the regular season, and it only got more precise in the playoffs. Against one of the best defenses in the league, Luka still dropped 5.8 assists per game, while LeBron added another 5.6. That kind of shared passing load doesn't just mean they were moving the ball, it means the offense had multiple layers. Now, the types of passes they made weren't just basic swing passes or drive and kicks. Luka was throwing cross-court lasers in transition, finding LeBron running the floor like he was back in his 20s. LeBron returned the favor with outlet passes and backdoor feeds that turned into easy point. They didn't need a long adjustment period to figure out where the other would be. It was immediate. The playmaking chemistry popped off the screen, even though they barely had a chance to breathe between games. What stood out was how much they leaned into different roles. LeBron wasn't just the ball-dominant player anymore. He was taking the roll man role in pick and rolls, letting Luka quarterback the action. That change opened up a totally different part of the Lakers' offense. Luka's ability to manipulate the defense with hesitation, moves, and angles gave LeBron clean looks near the basket or wide open lanes to cut into. And when LeBron did take over handling duties, Luka slid easily into spot-up mode, forcing defenders to stay honest on the perimeter. One thing that stuck with me was how willing they were to share the playmaking burden. There was no ego in it. LeBron trusted Luka to run the show, and Luka had no issue letting LeBron initiate the offense when matchups favored it. That gave them flexibility. In games where Luka faced blitzes, LeBron stepped up and ran sets. In games where LeBron drew attention in the post, Luka spotted mismatches and made the right read. Now, the numbers back all of this up. Even with a limited 28 games together, the Lakers had a net rating of plus 176 when they both played. That's not just scoring, that's ball movement, spacing, and controlled offense. Luka's turnover numbers, while on the higher side at 3.7, are expected from someone with his usage rate. And LeBron, at 2.6 turnovers in the playoffs, was one of the most careful high-usage passes on the floor. But it wasn't perfect. Luka joined the team while still recovering from a strained calf, and he missed 5.5 weeks during that stretch. That made it harder to build consistency. LeBron was dealing with a nagging hip and groin issue too, which clearly slowed him down late in games. Then there was the roster, thin front court depth, no real lob threat, and role players who didn't always hit their shots. That hurt their assist opportunities big time. When Luka drove into the paint looking for a big to toss it up to, there usually wasn't one. The failed trade for a rim-running big like Mark Williams left a gap in the middle that the team just never filled. That meant fewer easy assists for Luka and more clogged lanes that made passing harder. The same goes for LeBron. His drives were often cut off by crowded paint touches, forcing tougher kickouts or contested looks. Now look at this season. First, they finally get a full off-season together. Luka has already committed to getting in shape, and by all reports, this is the best conditioning he's come in with. That's going to help his passing late in games, especially when defenses start to tighten up. LeBron, even at 40, still wakes up at 5 in the morning to train. That work ethic is going to keep the chemistry sharp and the execution clean. They've got a real center now. With DeAndre Ayton added, Luka has a lob target again. That's going to bring back a part of his game that was missing last year. Those quick tosses over the top, the shovel passes off penetration, and the classic pick and roll bounce feeds that he was so good at in Dallas. Ayton gives Luka and LeBron a big who can finish plays and open up more spacing inside. And Marcus Smart is a huge addition, not because he'll dominate the ball, but because he'll take just enough of the load off both of them. That means fewer forced passes, more control, and better options when defenses collapse. Luka can focus on attacking mismatches, and LeBron can roam off ball and make smart reads from different angles. It's going to let both of them play to their strengths without stretching themselves thin. One thing I really noticed last season was that their passing got better in tight games. The problem was, the shots didn't always fall. In the fourth quarters against Minnesota, they shot a combined 12 for 37, but the decisions were good. The passes found the right hands. The execution just wasn't finished. Now, with chemistry and more reps, those same reads are going to turn into made shots and more assists. Coach Redick is also building the right kind of system around them. Say what you want about his rotation choices, but his emphasis on spacing and movement fits this team. Luka played in similar dual playmaker setups with Kyrie Irving, so he knows how to thrive when sharing control. LeBron has done this with stars before too. They don't need one guy to dominate every trip down. They work in layers, and Redick's system is designed to bring those layers to life. Look at the advanced stats again. Luka's true shooting was 59% with the Lakers. That's solid for someone adjusting midseason. LeBron's playoff field goal percentage was 48.9, and he still moved the ball well without taking bad shots. Those numbers should improve now that the offense is cleaner. Their assist-to-turnover ratios are also set to rise with more spacing and a better understanding of where the passing lanes are going to open. The most exciting part of all this is how they set each other up. Luka isn't just throwing passes to get rid of the ball, he's putting it exactly where guys can shoot. Same for LeBron. His vision's always been elite, but now he's got a co-star who actually sees the same things he does. That makes defenses scramble. It turns possessions into puzzles for the opponent and gives the Lakers more chances to pick apart weak spots. Even more important than the numbers is how they read the game. LeBron can diagnose a play before it happens. Luka's right behind him in that category. They're both used to being the smartest guy on the floor, and now they're feeding off each other. That leads to quicker decisions, fewer wasted dribbles, and more efficient possessions. You can already see how much easier the game looked when both were locked in and healthy. With time, their passes are going to come faster. The connection's already strong, but this season, it'll be even sharper. No hesitation, no confusion. Just two elite playmakers dissecting defenses with precision, and with more reliable shooting around them, those passes are going to start converting at an even higher rate. Every assist tells a story, and last season, those stories were just getting started. Luka and LeBron built the foundation of something dangerous, something that could become one of the best playmaking duos in the league. This season, with all the right tools in place, those numbers are only going up. You're going to see more assists, fewer turnovers, and an offense that looks like it's got eyes in the back of its head. The numbers prove the potential, and the system finally matches the talent. All that's left is to let them cook. But they're also two of the best rebounding wings in the NBA. LeBron pulled down 7.8 rebounds per game last season, and Luka grabbed 8.1. That's nearly 16 boards a night from two players who aren't even traditional bigs. Together, they were responsible for about 38% of the Lakers' total rebounds during the regular season. That's not just helping out on the glass, that's controlling it. LeBron's rebounding rate was around 12.5%, which puts him in the top group among forwards. He averaged 1 offensive board and 6.8 defensive rebounds per game. Even at age 40, his timing, positioning, and anticipation made him a nightmare to box out. He wasn't crashing wildly. He was reading angles, waiting for shots to go up, and slipping into position like he'd done it 20 years in a row. Because he has. Luka, on the other hand, had a rebounding rate of 13%, which is top 5 among guards. He averaged nearly a rebound to more than LeBron overall, including 7.2 on the defensive end and just under 1 on the offensive glass. For a guard, that's ridiculous. He wasn't just standing around watching the ball bounce. He was getting in there with the bigs, boxing out, and using his strength and anticipation to clean up the mess. Now, in those 28 games they actually played together, the Lakers had a net rating of plus 176. That's not just about scoring or passing. It's a reflection of their ability to end possessions. When you grab defensive rebounds, you stop second chance points. When you grab offensive rebounds, you extend possessions. Luka and LeBron were doing both. Then came the playoffs. Against the physical, defensive-minded Minnesota team, LeBron raised his rebounding average to 9 per game. 3 of those were on the offensive end. That's a massive jump, and it showed up when it mattered. He had a 12-rebound night in Game 4 and an 11-rebound performance in Game 2. Luka was still strong, averaging 7 boards in the series, including a 12-rebound outing in Game 2. He also had 8 in Game 1. These weren't meaningless rebounds either. They were contested, high-effort boards in tough games. And again, these are not your typical front-court rebounders. Neither of them is a traditional center. They weren't camped under the rim waiting for the ball to fall into their hands. They were moving, cutting, switching, and then fighting through traffic to get the rebound. That takes a lot more than just height. It takes intelligence and effort. But let's be honest, the rebounding could have been even better. Luka joined mid-season. 28 games isn't a lot of time to figure out rebounding assignments, box out communication, or transition responsibilities. Sometimes both went for the same rebound. Other times, neither did. It was just raw instinct and hustle most of the time. And even then, they still combined for nearly 16 a night. Now they get an entire offseason together. That means film sessions, communication drills, and actual planning around who rotates, where, and when. Expect their coordination to tighten up. Expect fewer missed assignments and more controlled chaos. That alone should raise their combined average and make them even more dangerous on the boards. Conditioning plays a part too. Luka's reportedly come into the offseason in top shape. That means more bounce, quicker reactions, and more energy on second and third efforts. LeBron's not jumping over people anymore, but he doesn't need to. His rebounding has never been about raw athleticism. It's about knowing where to be before the ball hits the rim. That skill doesn't decline with age. It gets better. Also, the Lakers are improving their roster. Adding shooters will stretch the floor, pull defenders away from the rim, and give both Luka and LeBron more space to crash the boards. When a defense has to stay glued to the corners, there's less traffic in the paint. And with LeBron able to play small ball center at times, he'll find himself battling smaller players for boards. That's an easy win almost every time. DeAndre Ayton joining the team is another huge plus. Having a reliable 7-footer next to them means more rebounding structure. Luka won't have to crash every single time. He can read the play and go when needed. LeBron can time his movement around Ayton's positioning. And with Ayton boxing out the biggest guy on the court, the lane opens up for these two to come flying in for rebounds without being muscled out. The numbers already show how efficient they are. When both were on the floor, the Lakers averaged over 42 rebounds per game. That's not team-leading production from role players. It's elite rebounding volume from their two best players. And it came without fully knowing each other's tendencies yet. It's not just about grabbing the ball either. It's about what happens after. Both of them are elite passers. That means grabbing the rebound and instantly turning it into offense. Luka can take a board, dribble twice, and throw a full court pass that hits a corner shooter in rhythm. LeBron can snatch a rebound, push the break, and finish or find a cutter. It turns defensive rebounds into transition chances, and it breaks defenses that aren't set. In the playoffs, the Lakers allowed fewer second chance points when both Luka and LeBron were on the floor. That's a direct result of two things: boxing out and finishing possessions. You can't fast break if the other team's grabbing offensive rebounds, and you can't slow the game down if your stars are sprinting off rebounds and forcing tempo. Next season, the rebounding numbers are going up. The chemistry will be sharper. The spacing will be better. The responsibilities will be clear. Luka's energy level will be higher, and LeBron's understanding of the game will only keep growing. More importantly, the coaching staff will start building actual rebounding schemes around their strength. Luka crashing the defensive glass and LeBron leaking out. That's a problem for opponents. LeBron grabbing offensive boards while Luka stays outside to reset the offense. Another problem. Luka's 13% rebounding rate as a guard puts him in a category of his own. It's not a fluke. He's got great hands, excellent timing, and a physical edge that makes him a mismatch for most perimeter players. LeBron's 12.5% rate is impressive, not because of age, but because it shows that he's still winning battles down low against taller and younger guys. And remember, their net rating together was plus 176. That number doesn't happen if you're giving up offensive rebounds. It doesn't happen if you're getting bullied on the glass. It happens when you dominate the rebounding game and close out stops. That's exactly what they were doing, even with limited practice time and a shaky supporting cast. This year, the Lakers will get a chance to dominate that part of the game more consistently. Their two best players are already rebounding like bigs, and now they'll be surrounded by better shooters, a more physical front court, and an actual system that supports them. That's going to raise their rebounding averages, give them more control over pace, and make every possession count. The rebounding edge isn't just a stat line, it's a weapon. Luka and LeBron have already proven they can use it. Now they get to sharpen it. With better spacing, improved health, and smarter schemes, they'll not only keep rebounding at a high level, they'll make it one of the reasons the Lakers win games. And that's going to be fun to watch. But I want to talk about what the new additions of Ayton and Smart mean. LeBron and Luka already had a strong foundation last season, but adding DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart is about to take all of it up a level. These aren't just plug-in guys. They're exactly the kinds of players LeBron and Luka need to unlock the next version of their games. And it starts with Ayton. DeAndre Ayton gives Luka what he didn't have all last year, a big man who can actually finish. Luka averaged 7.5 assists per game with the Lakers without having a reliable role man. That's already impressive. But now, he's got someone with a career field goal percentage around 59% and the ability to catch lobs, dive off screens, and finish through contact. Luka's going to rack up assist numbers just by doing what he's always done, reading the defense and throwing perfect passes. Except now, those passes are actually going to be converted. It's not just alley-oops. Ayton's presence forces defenders to stay honest. No more switching small guards onto Luka without consequences. Ayton will punish those matchups, and that means Luka doesn't have to fight through double teams every possession. That also opens up space for LeBron to get downhill again. Ayton's screens are solid, his timing is clean, and he's a legitimate vertical threat that makes the defense think twice about switching or hedging hard. Now for LeBron, this is big. He averaged 8.2 assists last season, but most of those were from orchestrating everything himself. With Ayton, he gets another reliable target in the paint. It's been a while since LeBron had a true pick and roll big who can finish consistently. Ayton gives him that. Whether he's running the two-man game or making secondary passes off the drive, LeBron's decision-making becomes even more dangerous when Ayton's pulling the weak side defender away from the rim. Last year, the Lakers ran a lot of small ball because they didn't have a center they could trust every night. That meant LeBron had to do more rebounding, more banging, and more shot contests than anyone his age should have to deal with. Ayton takes that off his plate. He averaged over 10 rebounds per game and added a block per night last season. That kind of presence allows LeBron to roam, rotate, and conserve his energy for offense, or for the clutch moments that matter most. And then there's Marcus Smart. This is a guy who changes the vibe of the floor the moment he steps on it. He averaged just over 3 assists per game last season, but he's had years where he pushed closer to 6. That's the kind of ball handling relief Luka and LeBron both needed. Luka doesn't have to initiate every possession anymore. He can catch and shoot, curl off screens, or just rest for a few trips without the whole offense stalling out. Smart also gives LeBron the option to play off the ball more often. When the defense is keyed in on stopping the drive, Smart can initiate sets and get LeBron touches in the post, on cuts, or in transition lanes where he can attack without having to beat a full defense off the dribble every time. It's all about keeping the offense flowing without overworking the stars. But Smart's biggest contribution is on the defensive side. He takes the toughest perimeter assignment every night. That means Luka gets to guard less threatening players, saving him energy and helping him stay out of foul trouble. It means LeBron doesn't have to switch constantly or rotate to cover gaps when someone gets beat off the dribble. Smart's pressure at the point of attack changes everything about how the Lakers defend. The Lakers didn't have that luxury last season. They were patching together lineups to hide defensive issues. Now, with Smart setting the tone at the top and Ayton anchoring the middle, LeBron and Luka can focus on rotating and cleaning up rather than scrambling. And when they want to switch, they actually can. Ayton's mobile enough to hang on the perimeter for short stretches, and Smart can fight through screens all day. These additions also help cut down on mistakes. Last year, Luka averaged over 3.5 turnovers, and LeBron was right there with him. A lot of those came from trying to force plays that weren't there because the spacing was bad, the targets weren't ready, or the defense was locked into stopping just 2 guys. Now they've got better options. Ayton's hands are reliable, his positioning is good, and he's not afraid to take contact. Smart doesn't force the ball. He makes the right read and keeps it moving. You're going to see Luka's assist numbers jump. 9 assists per game is a real possibility now. His potential assist numbers were already high, and Ayton gives him a consistent finisher inside that raises his floor as a playmaker. With better floor balance and improved spacing, Luka doesn't have to create every shot through traffic. That raises his true shooting percentage too, especially when he can play off the ball more often and shoot in rhythm. LeBron might not need to carry the same assist load, but that's a good thing. His numbers may go down slightly, but his efficiency will go up. He can pick his spots more carefully, post up smaller defenders, or run second side actions while Luka or Smart initiates. That'll help his shooting numbers stay strong and keep his minutes impactful. Ayton is going to benefit more than anyone. He's not expected to carry the offense. He just needs to be in the right place and finish. Luka and LeBron will find him all night. There's no reason he can't average around 18 points per game on nearly 60% shooting, and it'll be the easiest scoring of his career. Open dunks, lobs, and clean looks from short range without having to create for himself. Smart may not fill up the box score, but his presence changes the lineup. The Lakers can now run lineups with multiple playmakers, real rim protection, and on-ball defense. You can't trap Luka if Smart is handling. You can't sag off the perimeter if Ayton's rolling to the rim. You can't load up on LeBron if he's spotting up or cutting. That kind of versatility is exactly what they were missing, and the rotations finally make sense. No more scrambling to cover holes. They've got defined roles. Luka runs the offense, LeBron orchestrates or scores from the post. Ayton sets screens and finishes plays, and Smart defends and keeps the offense humming. That's balance. That's sustainability, and it's a nightmare to guard. The spacing still needs work, sure. Smart isn't a lights-out shooter, but his career average is over 32% from deep, and if he's hitting open looks at a decent clip, it's enough. You can't leave him alone. That means more room for Luka to isolate, for LeBron to drive, and for Ayton to get clean rolls to the rim. In terms of defensive flexibility, this might be the best group they've had in years. Smart harasses guards. LeBron can guard wings or switch onto bigs. Ayton protects the rim. Luka just has to hold his ground. And with the other guys covering gaps, he can do that more effectively. This is the version of the Lakers that fits Luka and LeBron. Not just stars thrown together, but complementary parts that amplify each other. Smart stabilizes the backcourt and tightens the defense. Ayton anchors the paint and finishes plays. Luka and LeBron get to do what they do best without doing everything alone. The whole formula changes. Luka becomes a more efficient scorer and a more lethal passer. LeBron becomes a more focused weapon and less of a burdened engine. Ayton becomes a high-efficiency scorer just by existing in the right spots. Smart becomes the glue guy who keeps everything functioning on both ends. It's not hype, it's structure. And structure is exactly what turns good talent into dominant basketball. This group has it now. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.